Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're diving into a topic that's, I think, really captivating a lot of people right now, the race for AI supremacy.
Hmm.
And you, our listener, have been doing some really cool research on this.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic field.
So let's jump right in. I was blown away by the stat you found. The global AI market is projected to reach almost $4 trillion by 2034.
Yeah, 3.68 trillion to be exact. It's incredible the kind of growth we're seeing.
That's trillion with a T. And
Yeah.
your research really focused on the U.S. market, and things are heating up between the big players. OpenAI and Meta are neck and neck, each holding 31% of the market share. Did you expect that when you started digging into this?
I have to admit, it's been fascinating to watch this rivalry unfold. OpenAI had a head start for sure, but Meta, with their social media integration, it's a clear advantage. They have such a huge user base
Hmm.
and tons of data on how people interact online. It's fuel for their AI engines. It's like a secret weapon they've had all along. But your research also highlighted a lot of other big players in this AI race. You've got Google with Gemini, Microsoft with Copilot and Bing AI, Snapchat with My AI, even Adobe's jumped into the ring with Firefly. It's getting crowded out there.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they each bring something different to the table, like OpenAI. One thing that stood out in your research was your analysis of them. Their strength isn't just the advanced language processing, it's that ability to adapt and iterate so quickly.
Oh, yeah. Like when they changed their approach with ChatGPT based on all that user feedback.
Exactly. It shows they're not just focused on building impressive tech. They really understand the user experience.
Which is so important. I mean, what's the point of having amazing AI if nobody wants to use it?
Right. User experience is everything in this game, and that's where I think your insights about Meta are so key. You pointed out their success hinges on how smoothly they integrate AI into that social media experience. It can't be clunky or intrusive,
Yeah, it has to be seamless.
exactly like a natural extension of how people already interact online.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And then you've got Google, taking a completely different approach. Your research suggests they're really leaning into their massive data pool.
Right. They're using information from Search Gmail, all their services, to train their AI models.
It's mind-boggling how much data they have access to.
And you made a really great point in your research about how this could actually give them an edge when it comes to developing AI that can understand and respond to those really complex queries in a way that other companies just can't match.
Yeah, it's like they're playing a whole other game. While other companies are focused on specific applications, like chatbots or design tools, Google seems to be aiming for something much bigger, this overarching AI that could power all kinds of experiences.
And that's where things get really interesting, right? Because it makes you wonder what kind of AI ecosystem we're moving towards. Will it be dominated by a few giants like Google and Meta? Or will we see a more diverse landscape with specialized AI applications from a bunch of different companies? You touched on this in your research, and I'm curious to hear more about your thoughts.
Well, one thing I found fascinating was how Microsoft is positioning themselves. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. Instead, they're laser focused on bringing AI to the workplace
Right.
with tools like Copilot.
Yes. And you made such a great point in your research about how this strategy could give them a real advantage. They're not just building AI for AI's sake. They're building AI that actually solves real-world problems for businesses and professionals.
It's like they're saying, look, forget the hype. Here's how AI can help you be more productive and efficient right now.
Oh, exactly.
And that's a message that resonates with people, but Microsoft's not the only one going after that user engagement angle. You highlighted Snapchat and Bing AI too. Both are trying to embed AI into platforms people are already using every day.
It's a smart strategy, right?
Mhm.
By making AI feel familiar and accessible, it could help overcome any hesitation or fear people might have about this new technology.
For sure.
And you made a really interesting observation in your research about how this approach could lead to a more gradual, but ultimately more pervasive adoption of AI in our lives.
Yeah, it's like AI is slowly becoming part of everything we do without us even realizing it.
Exactly.
And then there's Adobe. They're kind of a wild card in all of this, coming at it from a totally different angle with that focus on creativity and design. In fact, your research included a case study of how their Firefly tool is being used by graphic designers to generate images or ideas.
Oh, yeah. It's such an interesting example of how AI can be used to augment human creativity
Yeah.
rather than replace it.
Right.
And it shows how well Adobe understands their users. They're not trying to turn everyone into an AI expert. They're giving creatives new tools to express themselves
Yeah.
and push the boundaries of their art.
So we have all these different players, with different strengths and strategies. It's like a chess match where everyone's trying to anticipate the next move.
It really is a fascinating game to watch. But you know what I find even more intriguing? Is how you've connected all these larger trends to your own personal interests and goals. In your research, you highlighted a specific area where you believe AI could have a major impact on your work.
Yes. And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just about understanding the technology, it's about understanding how it can be applied to our own lives in a meaningful way.
Absolutely. And that's what makes your research so valuable. You're not just observing from a distance. You're actively exploring how to use these advancements to achieve your own goals. That kind of proactive thinking is going to be essential in navigating this AI-powered future.
Well, I have to give credit where credit's due. Your insights have really helped me connect the dots.
And I'm glad to hear that. That's what these deep dives are all about,
Yeah.
helping you make sense of this complex landscape and see the possibilities.
And speaking of possibilities, there's one company we haven't mentioned yet that I'm really curious to hear your take on, Apple. They've been pretty quiet on the AI front, but they're not going to sit this one out.
You're absolutely right. Apple is the elephant in the room.
Mhm.
Or maybe the apple in the algorithm. Haha.
I like that. But seriously, what's your take on their potential impact?
Well, your research actually touched on this, and I think you made a really good point. You pointed out that Apple's greatest advantage is their incredibly loyal user base.
Yes, they have this amazing ecosystem. People love their iPhones, their iPads, their MacBooks. If Apple introduces AI-powered tools and features that seamlessly integrate with their existing products, it could change everything.
Exactly, and we can't forget about their reputation for design and user experience. They are masters at making technology feel intuitive and enjoyable to use. If they can bring that same magic to AI, they could really disrupt the market.
It's like they're waiting for the perfect moment to make their grand entrance. And when they do, everyone better watch out.
It's going to be fascinating to see how they approach it. Will they go for a broad, overarching AI platform like Google, or will they focus on specific applications that enhance their existing products?
That's the million-dollar question. But one thing's for sure. They have the resources, the talent, and the brand recognition to be a major force.
Absolutely. And their entry into the market could accelerate the pace of innovation even more. Competition breeds creativity, and I think we're going to see some truly groundbreaking advancements in the next few years as all these companies try to outdo each other.
It's like an arms race, but instead of weapons, they're battling it out with algorithms and user interfaces.
Uh-huh. That's a good way to put it. And the ultimate prize, our attention, our data, and our loyalty.
So it's not just a battle for technological supremacy, it's a battle for the hearts and minds of users.
Precisely. And that's why it's so important to be an informed consumer. We need to understand what these companies want, the potential benefits and risks of these technologies, and the choices we had as individuals.
Absolutely. We can't just passively accept whatever these companies throw at us. We need to be critical thinkers,
Right.
asking tough questions and demanding transparency.
Well said. And that's where I think your research is so empowering. It's given you the knowledge and the tools to navigate this complex landscape and make informed decisions about the technology you use.
It's like you've given me a decoder ring to understand the AI world.
I like that analogy.
Wow.
And the more you use that decoder ring, the better equipped you'll be to not just understand the AI revolution, but to shape it.
Wow, now that's a powerful thought. But let's bring it back to something a little more concrete. In your research, you highlighted a specific area where you think AI could have a big impact on your work. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. You mentioned you're interested in how AI can be used to personalize learning experiences.
Oh, yeah. I think there's so much potential there. Imagine a world where every student has access to a personalized learning plan that adapts to their individual needs and learning style.
It's a really exciting vision. And there are already some promising developments in this area. You actually cited a few companies in your research that are developing AI-powered tutoring systems
Yeah.
and adaptive learning platforms.
Right. And I was fascinated by how these systems are able to not only deliver content, but also give real-time feedback and support. It's almost like having a personal tutor available 24/7.
It's incredible, isn't it? And as these technologies keep evolving, they have the potential to completely transform education. Imagine a world where learning isn't limited to a classroom, where anyone can access personalized instruction anytime, anywhere.
Wow. It's like the democratization of knowledge. And not just knowledge, but the tools and support you need to actually master it.
Exactly. And I think this is just one example of the many ways AI can improve our lives, whether it's healthcare, transportation, entertainment, or any other field you can think of. The possibilities are truly endless.
It's both exciting and a little overwhelming to think about all the potential applications.
I agree, but the key is to approach it with curiosity and a sense of wonder. Don't be afraid to explore, experiment, push the boundaries of what's possible.
And most importantly, to never stop learning.
Well said. Because the world of AI is constantly changing. What we know today might be completely different tomorrow. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged in this incredible journey. It's great to see that kind of thinking, actively looking for ways to use this stuff.
Well, I have to give you credit. Your insights have been so helpful in connecting all the dots.
I'm glad to hear that that's what these deep dives are for,
Yeah.
to help make sense of it all and see the possibilities.
And speaking of possibilities, there's one company we haven't talked about yet that I'm really curious about, Apple. They've been pretty quiet on the AI front so far, but they're not going to sit this one out, are they?
You're right. Apple's the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
or maybe the apple in the algorithm.
I like that. But seriously, what do you think their impact will be?
Well, actually, you touched on this in your research.
Mm.
And I think you made a really astute observation about Apple's biggest advantage, that their loyal user base.
Right. It's an incredible ecosystem they've built. People are so attached to their iPhones, their iPads, their MacBooks. If Apple comes out with a suite of AI tools and features that work seamlessly with all their products, it's game over.
Exactly. And don't forget their reputation for design and user experience. They're masters at making technology feel intuitive and even fun to use.
Hmm.
If they can bring that same magic to AI, they could really shake things up.
Yeah, it's like they're waiting for the perfect moment to make their move. And when they do look out,
It'll be interesting to see what direction they take. Will they go for a big, broad platform like Google, or focus on specific applications that make their existing products even better?
that's the big question, isn't it? But either way, they definitely have the resources, the talent, and the brand power to be a major player.
No doubt about it. And once they enter the market, I think we'll see the pace of innovation really pick up. Competition's a great motivator, and I think we're going to see some incredible breakthroughs as these companies push each other further.
It's like an arms race, but with algorithms and user interfaces instead of weapons.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, exactly. And the prize they're all fighting for, our attention, our data, and our loyalty.
So it's more than just a technology race. It's a battle for the hearts and minds of users.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for all of us to be informed consumers. We need to understand the motivations of these companies, the potential benefits and risks of these technologies, and the choices we have.
I agree. We can't just sit back and let these companies dictate how this all plays out. We need to be critical thinkers, asking the tough questions and demanding transparency.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that's what makes your research so valuable. It's given you the knowledge and tools to navigate this complex landscape and make informed choices about the technology you use.
It's like you've given me a decoder ring to understand the AI world.
Haha. I like
Wow.
that analogy. And the more you use it, the better equipped you'll be to not only understand this AI revolution,
Mm.
but to help shape it.
That's a pretty amazing thought. But let's bring things back down to earth for a second. In your research, you mentioned a specific area where you think AI could have a huge impact on your work. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Of course. You mentioned you were interested in how AI could be used to personalize learning experiences.
Yeah, I think that has so much potential. Imagine a world where every student has a personalized learning plan that adapts to their own needs and learning style.
It's a fantastic vision, and there are some really promising developments already happening in this area. You even mentioned a few companies in your research that are working on AI-powered tutoring systems and an adaptive learning platform.
Boy, and what I found so cool is how these systems not only deliver content, but they also give real-time feedback and support. It's like having a personal tutor with you all the time.
It really is remarkable. And as this technology improves, I think it has the potential to completely change how we think about education. Imagine a world where learning isn't restricted to a classroom, where anyone can get personalized instruction anytime, anywhere.
Wow, it's like everyone would have access to knowledge and the tools they need to master it.
Exactly. And I think that's just one example of how many ways AI can be used to improve our lives. It could be healthcare, transportation, entertainment, you name it. The possibilities really are endless.
It's exciting and kind of overwhelming at the same time to think about all the potential applications.
I know what you mean. But the key is to approach it all with a sense of curiosity and wonder. Don't be afraid to explore, experiment, and push the boundaries of what's possible.
And most importantly, to keep learning.
Absolutely. Because the world of AI is constantly changing and evolving. What we know today could be completely different tomorrow. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Wow, it's amazing to think about how much we've covered in this deep dive.
Yeah, from market share to personalized learning, all starting with your research.
And I feel like I have a whole new understanding of this AI landscape. It's not just the tech itself, it's the choices we make, the questions we ask. It's about the future we want to create.
You got it. And that's what I find so inspiring about this whole field.
Yeah.
It's not just about making machines smarter, it's about using those machines to empower people to solve real problems.
Yeah, and your research is so valuable because it's not just theoretical. It's grounded in those real-world applications and insights. You found places where AI can actually make a difference in your work and your life.
It's all about making that connection right, bridging the gap between the abstract and the concrete, the potential of AI, and how we can actually use it.
Absolutely, and I think the more we can do that, the more we demystify AI and make it accessible to everyone, not just the tech experts.
Couldn't agree more. We need to move past all the hype and fear-mongering and really focus on the real opportunities and challenges that AI brings.
That's where these deep dives are so important. Having these thoughtful, nuanced conversations about AI based on actual research and insights.
It's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
The pleasure was all mine. But before we go, is there one key takeaway you want our listener to remember?
I think the biggest thing to remember is that the future of AI is not set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the research we do, the conversations we have. So stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the battle for AI supremacy. It's been fantastic.
It's been my pleasure. And to our listener, thanks for sharing your research and your insights with us. We can't wait to see what you do next.